Welcome back. So for this lesson, what we're going to learn are how do we detect what character type we're using, okay? And at the same time, I'm going to introduce you to, again, a string as a character array. So let's start with the latter. Notice here that I have char as a data type, and I have an array. Notice I don't have a fixed size right here, so there is no integer between these brackets. And the reason for it, it's already initialized to the exact number of characters that are in here. Now, it's very important that you terminate your strings with the null character, /0. Okay? Now, can we detect this to figure out, okay, we're at the end of this string, okay? Or at the end of this array, so we don't go any further. Well, first, just let's pay attention to how automatically this is done with this string, okay? So we're going to try to print this as a string right here. So we're going to go over here, we're going to print it, and let's do this, printf. And we're going to call it product. Has this value in it, so %s. So we're going to consider it as a string. Give me a new line, okay? And simply, you're going to type product. Okay? And let's see how this behaves. So let's compile and run this. As you can see, we get our milk one character at a time, not an issue whatsoever. Now, what if I entered another character after /0? Will it appear in here? So we'll know now what this /0 does. So let me go ahead and add another character here. And let's enter the letter T, uppercase. Okay? All right, let's compile this and run it again and see if T will appear at all. As you can see, it doesn't. So it lets go as soon as it encounters /0. Okay? Now, can we, instead of using %s, can we print one character at a time and make it look like a string? Absolutely, we could do that. So let me just remove this. We know this here is an indicator that this is the end of the string, right? Let's do it with a while loop. So while we're not here, right, go ahead and print the character. So if I'm going to do a while loop for this, then I would like to make sure that I am moving one character at a time. So we could use the index. So go ahead and create an index, int I, and initialize it to 0. So that means you're going to be starting at the position 0, which is capital M right here. And then we could do something like this. While, okay, product I is not equal to this character, /0. Then go ahead and print. So I'm going to curly brace because I have to increment so I need a curly brace because I'm going to need 2 lines of code within the body of the loop to increment the index, okay? Remember, that's important. First, I'm going to go ahead and printf. And notice here, I can print the actual character. So %c, okay? And let's call this one, what do you think? Product I, right? So in that particular element, I want it to be printed. What else? Well, you need to increment the index. Otherwise, you're going to be printing the first letter every time. Okay? And you will never reach the character that is /0 if you don't do that. Let's make this a little prettier. So printf, let's do a printf here right before it and type product. So we'll get the same effect. And notice no /n here, so this will appear right next to it, okay? And make sure at the end you insert a new line. So printf, simply /n here, so we don't have this attached to this. Now, we do have a /n here, which is fine, just in case I do anything else. All right, so let's go ahead and run this for a second here. So compile and run. And there you go. So that's one character at a time, right? Right here. So let's go back to the scenario where we add another character. So let's go ahead and put R now. And let's see if that has any effect. So compile and run. And notice nothing happens here. No R, the letter R does not appear. That's because we have a delineator /0 right here. Now, we can take that out. Now you're going to say, well, wait a minute. We've done all this, and we noticed that we have a new library here, ctype.h. Now, that one is for the character types. So to detect what kind of characters we're dealing with. So instead of doing this, is there another way to do this, right? And so let me just pull out ctype, and notice that these functions here return a Boolean. It's either true or false based on what is it you're trying to do. And in our case, that /0 is a control character. So we would like to know if we've reached a control character. Is control character, right? So how do we do this? Well, let's do it again with is control character. Let me just go ahead and click on that, just show you how this works. And here, they have an example, very similar to what I'm going to be doing, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and do it. And what it's going to do, it's going to detect if we have a /0. Because when you have a slash, that's a control character, right? So let's go ahead, well, a type of control character. Okay, so, well, let's do it again. Reinitialize I to 0. Make sure you reset it to 0. And let's do a printf product again. And this time, we're going to do our while loop based on that function. And in our case, as long as it's not his control character. All right? Which one? Well, product I. Right? That's who we're trying to detect. So as long as that is not. So the rest of the body is the same as we had before. So this while loop is equivalent to what we just did right there. So let me just copy here. It just formalizes what we're doing. So this here is similar to saying product I is not /0. All right, so let's go ahead and compile and run this. And let me see where my error is. Let me see if I misspelled it. Most likely I did. ISCNTRL. Yeah, I have an O in here, which I shouldn't. Here you go. Very good. So compile and run. And now we're in business. Okay? All right, so let's do a couple things here. While it's doing this, would it be nice if we could flip every character to its uppercase? Okay, well, let's do it here in this loop here. Could we do a toUpper function and return it here? So toUpper right here. And this will convert every character you have here to upper and print it here. Let's see if that works. So this is nice in case you wanted to convert everything to uppercase. Compile and run. And sure enough, if it was already an uppercase, it will remain that way. Everything else got converted to uppercase. So this here hopefully will help you manipulate characters so you can have a consistent format for your characters if you want to store them all in uppercase or lowercase, in case you're doing comparisons. And, you know, some people might type in a mix of upper and lowercase, and you're trying to compare to something else where someone else entered it all in lowercase. but the meaning is the same, so you might want to keep it consistent on either side. So you'll have to convert everybody to the same case. Another thing we're going to do for the next lesson is we're going to use strings to catch numerical values, which is going to be important because sometimes we don't know if the data coming in is going to be a number or just a string or just a representation of anything else. So can we convert it to an actual value, or like a number? So that will be our next lesson. So stay tuned for that.